The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the number one Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds sit down and talk all things movie trivia schmodown. Weird camera angle because the camera wasn't plugged in, and that was my fault. I mean, not really. It fell out. It wasn't plugged in all the way, and I didn't know that. So, plausible deniability. But regardless, I am joined, as always, by the one and only Green Lantern, Professor Travis Grossman.
That cable wanted to be free. You're trying to escape.
Yes. It was trying to get out. It was like Chicken Run, but for cables.
Cable Run.
Yeah, we have a good show for you guys this week. There was one hell of a week of trivia. We have two concurrently running tournaments, and yeah, excited to get into all of it. So we are going to jump into the first match of the week. And we had Zach Attack Burkett of the Stars going head-to-head with Adam, the Razor Wit of the Dungeon, in the first match of the Star Wars tournament. And damn.
It just can't stop happening. It just can't stop happening to him.
It's just so upsetting that every match happens the same exact way. Like, every match follows the same blueprint and formula of, like, we miss a couple in round one. And then, like, he's just a powerhouse through 2 and 3.
Like, he's just down enough by round 3 that even though he smokes round 3 every time, it just doesn't work out for him. It's unfortunate.
I just feel so bad for the guy. I really do. I just my heart goes out to him. But no, yeah, impressive work from Zach Burkett. You count on one hand the amount of times I'll say this. I do agree with Kaiser. We can work on the nickname. Just playing. But yeah, it was everybody put in good work here. It's another Dragon Con player. It's another opportunity to see what can be done with these Dragon Con players. We'll get to this later and spoilers, but Star Wars is a different landscape now. Officially, we are
it is.
We live in a very different galaxy than we did a month ago. But yeah, here's hoping Adam Witt just gets a break here. Because he's good. He has the accuracy.
You can't smoke rounds like that and not be able to compete. He just keeps getting unlucky that his opponent is getting questions geared to them, you know?
Yeah. It's real luck of the draw stuff that he's getting screwed over in the long run on. But yeah. Moving on. Holy shit.
So I got to be honest for a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily ingest these two teams matches this week because normally I would have listened to them at work yesterday. And because I'm still a little bit coming down from my second vaccine dose.
Yeah.
Spent the entire day unconscious. So
fair.
This morning, I very quickly zipped through the timelines of each one to get a general idea of how the match went. And this one, Deception v. Blackjack, looked a lot like Rushmore v. Press Room to me.
So, as somebody who didn't get to watch Rushmore versus Press Room, Deception had pretty much a perfect game.
And
Got spinner's
Blackjack.
choice.
Oh, okay. So that
Then Blackjack spun opponents.
no.
Credit where credit is due. Blackjack was in knockout territory for a minute, but they scraped through musicals. They got every question right. They had to go to multiple choice for a couple, but they got everyone right.
Yeah, I saw Deception had to answer a question in round 3, so like they hung on as best they could, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know about the opponent's choice thing, and that just makes it even more of a like uphill battle the whole time.
Yeah, Deception got to be play on God mode. Like they were already like they had a really strong round 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just tennis between Collins and McKee, and then like I said, they get spinner's choice. They go Stephen King, which is a no-brainer for them.
Yeah.
That's like if you and I were on a team, we like MCU is on the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they absolutely walked away with this match. Blackjack put up a hell of a fight. Like I'm not gonna do my corruption dick riding here. Like Blackjack put up a hell of a fight, and regardless of favorite factions and whatnot, Deception blew me away. I was so like I knew they were gonna do work. I was not expecting them to like.
I also don't know why I looked at because the match lineup you have is right on the document. I keep looking at it and thinking for some reason that Deception. I just said both teams that I wasn't thinking of. Rushmore and Danger Zone are flipped on the bracket. So I keep looking at them like, no, but I thought Danger Zone was on the left and Rushmore was on the right. And then I had to go back and look and I'm like, no, I'm just Mandela affecting myself. It's fine.
No, I got very confused as I thought I wrote down that Adam Witt was on the Stars earlier and got because mild dyslexia. But yeah, absolutely incredible match between Blackjack and Deception. Moving along, we got
Speak of the devil. I just got the Spotify alert that Danger Zone v Midterms is in Spotify now.
Which was also a good match. Unsurprising, Danger Zone came away with the W.
That one didn't look as runaway, but it did look like Danger Zone was in control the whole time.
Yeah,
like they always had a lead.
Yeah,
so.
they maintained a lead for pretty much the entire match. He's sitting next to the current champion and the greatest of all time, but Bateman was definitely the weaker link between him and Merle. But
and I feel like if you're on a team
Merle.
with Merle, like you're on a team with Merle, it was the same way. Like it was Roca and Merle, and Roca was technically the weak link,
Yeah,
and not by much.
Yeah, and not by much here either. Midterms did well. I want to see what Harris and Zipper can do together moving forward, but they're up against Dan Merle and Ben Bateman. Like, there's not much else you can do there.
You don't get a shittier spot on the bracket than that. Like,
no, you don't. You really don't. It looks like we're hurtling towards a Danger Zone versus Rushmore. However, somebody's going to have to get through Deception first, and it looks like they're feeling really strong. And
that's going to be a real match.
Again, this is not to undercut Deception's win this week, but it was very much a luck-based win, right? Like they had the skill to follow
I
through
think,
with it, and I think they would have won without a spinner opponent
yeah,
doubleheader.
in a luck neutral game, which is weird to say, but like in a game where they spin a random category and the other team does too, I think they still would have won based on the
Yeah,
scores I'd seen throughout the match. And just the
absolutely.
fact that it's Adam Collins and Marisol McKee, right? Like they're two of Corruption's strongest players, so it just makes sense that like in a match where they're going to get that lucky, they're just going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
But
So very well done on that front. Looking forward to seeing what happens with the teams tournament, which we will be talking about again at the end of the show. Moving on to our big pay-per-view live event. We got Peggy Gubbins versus I didn't write it down.
it was a Finstock guy.
Yeah. I know it was Rick Radis. I just realized I didn't
Oh
write
yeah.
it down in the thing.
Do be raining though.
I'll fill that back out now that we know it. But yeah, I kind of did what you did because I watched this coming home from work last night. And then I went, they got a sudden death. So like I kind of like picked up at the end of round 3 and then watched through the sudden death.
I skipped to who won and didn't realize they were in sudden death. So
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, good on Peggy Gubbins because it was interesting seeing somebody make one of Gucci's rookies sweat. Right. It was like the last loss the exchange had was Brother Lomas.
it was the only loss that it's still the
Yeah.
only loss they've had so far.
And it wasn't by much.
Mm.
It was by Frank Alvarez having a really, really good round 3. Or having good questions for round 3 because he still had I Am Robot to get over. And, you know, that's not us heckling him for I Am Robot. Just like that was a miss that could have spelled doom for him. But yeah, Rick Radis won the day eventually. But Peggy made him fight for it. Neither of these competitors are going anywhere. And we have a little bit more singles red in this month's matches now, thanks to it. But very impressed. Was not expecting sudden death. Let me rephrase that. I was expecting sudden death to happen in this pay-per-view.
Just not in the undercard.
Just not in the undercard. I was very much not expecting the levels of play that we got in either match. But moving right along to the big one. The rematch for the Star Wars belt. Alex the Demon Damon going up against Andrew the Hunter DImalanta. Damon trying to get that belt back. First of all, I love hearing Harloff introduce DiMalanta. I want him to play more. I just love the DiMalanta. I don't know. I giggled both times he said his name, and I want to hear him say it more. But
he just hangs on the syllables like a little too long sometimes.
Yeah.
And it takes it from like this is a wrestling introduction to he just forgot the next syllable. Like
he's just vamping on
DiMalanta. Wait, no, ta. It's ta.
And he puts a lot of sauce on that T. He puts a lot of ta. It's like the John Mulaney salt and pepper. But yeah, Travis, this was a very interesting match.
I am never one to look at like And this was the moment the match was lost, especially early on. Like when someone misses a question in round 1, I'm not like, that's it right there. Game's over. And I didn't in round 1. And it evened out, right? They both were 8 points going to
Yeah.
round 2, which was, I think that they ramped up the difficulty of these questions very specifically for this match. It felt like
Yeah. There was the
these felt
first
harder.
question I'm confused by. I need to go buy myself a copy of the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary, because I didn't know that Rise of Skywalker invented a subspecies of the Eope. Because like what DImalanta said, the BOP or EBOP, it was something like that where it had like a random B in it.
It was it was a derivation of EOP, I think, or something. But
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's an Eope. It's the same thing that farts in Jar Jar's face in Phantom Menace. So I was very caught off guard by the fact that that was not correct. And I don't know, if I were Alex Damon, that's the moment I get a little frustrated by the questions, because that's just Star Wars stupidness. Like that's not even you got the question wrong. That's just there's a random subspecies of the same animal with the identical name, save for one letter.
But then
Oh,
the moment that I was like, oh wait, this is just over, was the second steal.
yeah. I was kind of there with you where I was like, he can still do it. Very KO and Janine, like she can still win this. He can still win this. And he could. And he was the one with the perfect speed round, not DImalanta. So that second steal was big though. That was a really big steal. And it felt so weird seeing Alex Damon. Everything felt weird about that match, right? Like it was weird hearing him be referred to as the challenger.
Yeah.
Like that just felt strange. It felt weird seeing him on the right side of the screen. It felt weird seeing him get steals picked off of him. Like it
just felt like he wasn't all there. Like it felt like, and maybe it's because he was trying really hard for that Intergeekdom title shot, right? Maybe he's just, he had diarrhea that day. Like
I will say, like, I think there's a couple factors, and it's things that he pointed out himself, where he was talking about, he went into round 2 moving quickly for no good reason, and that speed and that cockiness cost them. That he did not kind of take a breath, slow down, go every question for question. And I don't think I can necessarily blame him after what happened with their last go at things. The fact that part of his brain, his instinct was like, it's a marathon. The fact that like he kind of cranked the speed up doesn't surprise me. It was the wrong play, clearly.
Yeah. I think he might have gone into this like we talked about last week a lot. He might have gone in also in the mindset of, well, we're just going to end up at sudden death. Like, we're going to end up in a really tight round 3, or we're going to end up at sudden death. We're going to blitz through our round 2. It won't be a problem. And then he got there, and he hit a snag on 2 questions, like, back to back. Like, it's not like he did have a tough round too, but like, it's not like he had like one here, hit, one here, hit. Back to back, he just fumbled, So that's definitely on him more so than the questions, I think. This time.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it was weird questions that he got wrong because I can't remember the two he got wrong because it was in Revenge of the Sith too, right? Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong. Is what he spun in round 2?
one of them was a question about the crawl. It
Oh
was
yeah,
it was
daring versus desperate.
desperate.
Yeah,
And then the other was who tells Padme not to go to Mustafar alone, I think.
yeah, that's right. I
'Cause
was surprised he got both of those. I was surprised he got wrong. Um, I was I was really surprised by the Captain Typho one. I was like really shocked. Like that seemed like something he knew. And I think if he slowed down a little bit, I think if he thought about it a little longer, he would because
he
I
held
think
on
he
that one
heard
for a while though. He definitely held on that one for a while because like I think he used to repeat, right? He wanted
maybe I
to
can't remember, but you might be right. Yeah.
that he was just like it's such a because when you think of that question, right? And I haven't watched Revenge of the Sith in a while, but I'm like, oh, it's Obi-Wan. No, that's too easy. It can't be Obi-Wan. And I would have gone with 3PO like he did.
Well, I think because it was like who was telling Padme that she shouldn't go to Mustafar alone, and it's like, oh, this character is worried about something. This character is bugging out, probably being annoying. It's 3PO, right?
Mhm.
Like I understand the train of thought, but I feel like if he just thought a little longer, that's the one line of dialogue Captain Typho has in Revenge of the Sith. And he's not even on screen for it. Like it's like that huge wide shot of Padme's ship on the landing pad while they're still on Coruscant. And you can just see the like practically stick figures of Padme and Typho as like she kind of hand waves him and then walks onto the ship. That one surprised me. I know watching along, I was stuck between daring and desperate.
I said daring. I also I because like he said the question and Alex answered right away. I answered with him. I was like, oh yeah, it's daring. And 'twas not.
Yeah, yeah. I can only wonder, and like this is very speculative. I wonder if DiMalanta is like, is it daring or desperate? Is it daring or desperate?
And then when he said the other,
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, it's desperate. But yeah, that round 2 really didn't do the demon any favors. Betting round. It's really unfortunate because Alex really hit his stride and came back to normal like 3 questions too late, like
Mhm.
he found his center again uh just a little too late, and it's unfortunate because I it just felt weird watching him. It felt weird watching him lose in such a way, right? It felt really weird. um and again, we were talking about the kind of speed and arrogance with which he went into round 2. On top of that, and he said this as well, he had the IG pay-per-view last week. He had May the 4th this week, which means on top of everything, he was putting together the annual Star Wars Explained full canon timeline explained, which has been getting longer and longer every year. This year clocks in at like an hour.
Mhm.
And then we got 2 episodes of The Bad Batch, and live streams to cover those. Like, Homeboy is spread thin.
And that's like honestly, that's what it felt like. Like it felt like he was in here just like I'm here. I showed up. I played. This is the best I got right now. Like I did not have time for this.
And and then this is stupid and kind of silly, but like I I hope he gets to play when either the next time we see him, rather, when either his IG season is over or his or like when there's another Star Wars show going on. Because like I feel like we got our confirmation that there will be a second Star Wars tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Because they mentioned it. He was like, if Roxy puts me in, I'm ready to rock and roll. And
Roxy would be stupid not to.
And she'd be a moron not to play him. And Roxy Stryer is not a moron. I hope for him he can be done with IG, and by the time he's playing, like the tournament isn't happening in like December. When like Book of Boba Fett would be happening. But like by the same token, we're probably going to be getting Spectacular like probably a week or two into December anyway, going off of years past. But I want to see him get to play when he's not stretched so paper thin, because I think he would have done much better just slowing down going into round 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even because even if he had to go to multiple choice and he hit those other 2 questions, like he still would have lost. It just wouldn't have been by that wide of a margin, you know? And I think, like we've been saying, it wasn't trivia mistakes necessarily. It was clearly play mistakes. And if he was more ready coming in, like if he was more prepared to play, wow, it's morning and I can't talk. He wouldn't have necessarily made those same mistakes.
Yeah. But yeah, it was DIMalanta's game really from round 2 and moving forward. Come the collision, which little programming teaser. Around that time, we might have something special for you guys. A little something. But like headed towards the collision. He's gonna get to hold on to this for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to war with Laura Kelly. Right? And
yeah. What does the winner of the Star Wars tournament get? Do they get a number 1 contender shot or do they get a title shot? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I would assume a title shot at this point. Like,
okay.
Because we have a really clear chain of succession now. Because before, whenever Alex had it, like there was that weird like period of back and forth that could be happening. But now, like, okay, Alex Damon's back with, he's a peasant in the league again. As far as rankings go, I mean, not as rankings go, but like where he's seated at this point, he no longer gets to just chill out at the front of the line. So he's fallen back in. Kelly gets her shot. I hope this isn't a situation where if she loses, she's done for the season. Right? Like, I hope
Probably not.
I hope that this happens and the Star Wars tournament happen in quick enough succession with each other that like Kelly can lose, then get thrown into the tournament.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to wait until after Collision to announce the next round of tournaments. Because like after Collision, we're going to get the big the tournaments we're used to, I think. Star Wars is going to be huge, first of all, right? Comparatively. Unless they do just another one of the same size. But I feel like they're going to do it much bigger. And whoever loses at Collision almost definitely has to be playing in that tournament. You know?
Well, I mean, you got to figure like there's still big names we haven't seen yet. Like, I remembered yesterday, Joseph Scrimshaw's in Corruption. Like that's a thing this season. So, like, Scrimshaw is yet to see any play. We haven't seen Ace yet, and I don't know how they're going to handle making me yawn. I don't know how they're going to handle the Star Wars tournament in that, like, I don't. Well, it's the. Like, because this tournament that's happening right now is for rookies and lower ranked players, with the exception of Ace, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if any of the players who are here are going to be eligible to compete in the second tournament if they try to do a huge one. Because if they try to do a huge one, then like maybe you can do one person from two people from each faction. Like you get both Kelly and Cabrera for swag, both Sullivan and Scrimshaw for corruption, so on and so forth, Briquette and Damon, whatever. Because that's another thing. Like Zach Briquette, if you can put him in two tournaments, and that's what they did for IG last year, you know, where like you had we had one person from each faction on each side, right? Like every faction was represented, and
now you have enough people to do that for Star Wars, so it just makes sense to do it. You know,
I agree completely. So I'm very interested in how the tournament shakes out. I think we're looking at a situation where, for very logical reasons, they're going to probably seed the tournament to keep Damon and Scrimshaw away from each other until the end. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I think that you need to be careful with where you place, because like let's say that Laura Kelly doesn't win the Star Wars belt at Collision. You need to be careful with where you place her too. Because you could end up with like with a massive battle in the first round of the tournament between either her and Scrimshaw or Damon and Scrimshaw or Damon and Kelly. So those three, if they end up in the tournament, I think will be interesting. Same with DImalanta, because there's a good chance that Laura Kelly takes the belt from him. And what we've been talking about since like the birth of this show, that the potential for Star Wars to become something not dissimilar to the Inner Geekdom, where it turns into, okay, you get to have the belt for a month. Okay, now it's mine. Now it's yours. Now it's theirs. Now it's mine again. Now some rookie sensation is going to take it from me, and then a rookie sensation takes it from them. Like, I want to know, like, I'm curious to see how that shakes out. And how it affects the Star Wars tournament that we are going, the second one at least that we're going to get. So yeah, I think every Star Wars player is on notice that like the game is
very different now.
Like, not only can you beat Alex Damon can have a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to see and it's weird to watch happen, but that is the case. Travis, any more thoughts on Damon v. DImalanta?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
All right. Let me ask you some questions, Travis. Thomas Harper versus Eric Whiteley next week. Who you got in Star Wars?
That's a good question. Both these guys were phenomenal. I like the quirky merc, so I'm going to say Eric Whiteley. I think it's going to be a really close match, though.
I think it's going to be close. I am going to go with Harper. I think he's a little bit quicker on the trigger with the deep cuts.
It's that Dragon Con knowledge, you know?
Yeah, it's that Dragon Con knowledge where, like, and I've said before, where like the extra canon knowledge, where it's like you get so deep into the lore that like you need to know one thing for another thing to make sense, kind of mentality. That I feel like that's why he's a little bit quicker on the trigger there. Rushmore versus Lightning Time.
I think this is a lot closer of a match than it looks. I think the advantage still goes to Rushmore.
I concur.
It's like, I think it looks like a 65-35. I think in reality, it's like closer to 60-40, 55-45. But, I think Lightning Time, Rushmore has two strong singles players. Well, a strong singles player and a strong teams player, but also a strong singles player that work well together. Lightning Time is two really, really strong singles players that work well enough together to make a team,
Yeah.
So, but they're finding their footing. Rushmore we've seen this week, we've seen all season, right? People just have bad games. And, if Rushmore spins musicals or something, just something they aren't prepared for.
Yeah.
I go to musicals. It could be anything, right? Maybe they spin Batman and they're like, I've never heard of a guy wearing a bat costume. What are you talking about? I doubt that, but because if Lightning Time plays like they played in their last match, they'll be fine. Like at that point, it does come down to luck, but I'm excited for that match. But I think my money goes to Rushmore.
I agree with you on Rushmore. Now that we have an answer to this one, we know for certain it is going to be Danger Zone versus Deception.
So this is another one. I think this is a lot closer than you would think. Because if I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, it's two former champions versus a former champion and another, again, a strong singles player.
Yeah.
I go to the two champions, but it's Adam Collins, right?
And it's Marisol McKee.
Yeah, they work really well together.
She's going to be belted. There's no way she is not belted at some point in the future. Mm-hmm. No way, not a snowball's chance in hell. We don't see her with a belt on her shoulder at some point in her career.
So my money goes to Danger Zone, but I think this is another 55-45, right? Where if someone has a bad day, it swings completely in the other direction.
So for me, and 100% honesty, no corruption, fandom, fanhood, whatever. If I'm in Vegas and I need to make money quick, a safe bet is Danger Zone. I feel like we could see an upset from Corruption and Deception.
Absolutely. Yeah,
they could come out of nowhere. They could come out like a bat out of hell.
If Bateman and they drop two questions in round 2, right? And those steals get picked up, suddenly this is a whole new game, right? If Dan drops a question in round 1, if Ben misses the 3-pointer, right? There are a lot of ways where one of them can just not have a good day.
Yeah. And again, it happened after a spinner's choice, but they had a pretty much perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
I am yawning like hell now. So I don't know. I feel like Deception. I think Deception might have an upset. I think they might have a trick up their sleeve that could help them bring that home. So for both loyalty purposes and because I like a good underdog story, I'm going to say Deception. Which how much heat do you need to go up against for Deception to be the underdog?
Right. It's not by much, but
yeah, not by
technically
much.
speaking.
Plus, just, it makes the plotline shit interesting if Adam Collins gets to begin his vengeance here. And then our last match of next week, we have Gold Leader of the Finstock Exchange versus Marie Wilson of the Usual Suspects in the Star Wars tournament.
My money goes to Marie Wilson, right?
I'm feeling Marie too. I'm feeling Marie as well.
But, Finstock's been on this tear. They haven't lost a match except for their first one all season.
Yeah.
So who knows, right? Maybe I think Marie though is going to be better equipped coming into this match.
Yep.
After the first one. And she's the Dragon Con star of the Dragon Con stars, Like she's the one everyone wants to play.
Yeah, because she's the most recent winner.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because they did a digital Dragon Con because COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because COVID, and she won this one. Alex won the 2019 convention, and that was his first Dragon Con win. And then Marie Wilson won the digital one. So I think she's the hot commodity coming out of Dragon Con because she's the most recent winner in this tournament that historically Alex Damon does not do. That he doesn't win. I'm not going to say that he doesn't do well in it. He does well in it. I've seen the videos of him playing in it. But yeah, no, my money's on Marie Wilson as well. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like she has a little bit stronger of a knowledge base and is just like a little bit more locked and loaded than Mr. Gold Leader may be. So that is my impulse there as well. And then the following week is going to be big as well. So not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we are looking at the team's tournament finals and Kalinowski v. Kanopic 3 for the IG belt. So we are looking at a very big week next week as well.
Next week is the week stacked. After.
So we have 1 week of no pay-per-views and just tournament play, and then the week after that is chaos. It is one.
And we still don't have an undercard yet, do we?
We still don't know an undercard for Kalinowski Kanopic 3. So who knows what that is? I would guess a singles match. It might be, they might do what they did here, or like they might do like 2 highly ranked rookies to throw like into the pit.
Possibly.
Make them fight. But yeah, very exciting stuff on the horizon. Not to mention what is shaping up to be one hell of a collision to make up for the lack of one last week. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, sir?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political, and they can find me on Twitch, streaming more Assassin's Creed on Black Leader 439 on Wednesdays around 8 p.m. Eastern.
Hashtag cockstomp the Pope.
Jared, where?
You guys, I should have given you a little bit more time on that one. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you could donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Knaus. You guys help us make the content that we love to produce. Be sure to consider the $5 tier where you get access to the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series, Heroic History 101, and the Nerd Academy Movie Club audio commentaries. Be sure to click on the student store link on our website if you would like to get all manner of Nerd Academy merch and goodies. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Smash cancer. And thank you guys so much for listening or watching, whichever one you do.